Okay, so I'm Katie and I am mum of 4 boys, sometimes 5. I'm married to Gareth. So we've got 4 boys that are 9, 4, 6 and 2. Yeah, and I do know the ages of my children, honest. And we came to the course just at a moment. I think I caught Jackie in a very low parenting moment. The first week I spoke to her was on a high and I was like, yeah, I've got this. I don't need to go on a course. And then the following week I spoke to her and I was just in the doldrums and just overwhelmed, completely overwhelmed with just normal parenting. The incessant demands, trying to meet everybody's needs, the different dynamics, the different emotional needs, everybody, the screaming, the fighting, the crying. And it was just too much as well, because we've chosen to homeschool. So I'm at home all day with the boys, and I've got a wee business that is on the side that I love and want to get going, and managing that as well as just, Gareth going to work. He's a high school teacher. And we just felt like we got in a real stagnant place. We were just stuck. He would come home from work and we'd just blunder our way through the evening routine, the tea, the tidying up, getting to bed, and then we'd just fall in a heap, totally exhausted at the end of each day. And we've just kind of lost our passions and our zest. No time for ourselves or each other or individual time with each kid, and we just felt like nobody's needs were really actually being acknowledged or met. So it was pretty tough at the time. So that's where I started at the beginning of the course with Jackie. Okay, so Jackie's course, I have to say, has been a tremendous learning journey for me, especially, but for me and Gareth, and as a family, it has been transformational. I did have the envision that I would come out being this perfect parent and just cruising along each day, taking everything in my stride and never getting cross and never shouting and doing all those things that I was unhappy with. Well, I don't want to disappoint, but that hasn't happened. But the way that I look at how I parent has completely changed. So now there's much more forgiveness, there's much more acceptance, and there's much more compassion towards myself as a mum and a wife and a person, that just says, okay, you've lost your shit in the moment, because it is stressful. Parenting is so stressful at times. Sometimes it's beautiful and sometimes it's just really chaotic and out of control, and there's so much emotionally charged moments with the kids. Everyone's just trying to meet their needs, and sometimes it is too much for me, and I do get triggered. But now, with the help and guidance of Jackie, I look at those moments, and instead of beating myself up for what often used to be days, thinking that I was the most awful mum, and sorry, I feel a bit teary saying this, but that I was harming my children because I was shouting at them and I was saying mean things. But I look at that now and take it as a moment, and we've as a family, we now recognize that those moments are challenging and that they are hard, and we resolve them and we explain what's happened and why it's happened and how it could be better next time. So we get a lot of resolve, and I think through that there's a lot of healing for me and for our children. And I think that's important because it allows, I've now given myself permission, especially to be that parent. I think before I was always trying not to be angry, trying not to shout, trying not to lose control, because I deemed that as bad and I thought it was bad. But now it's I recognize it as just being human. And it's okay for the children to see me in those ways. And I have to say they are much less and less and less than they used to be. So that's also awesome. But they can see me as a human, and that it's okay for them. It gives them permission to express their emotion, and it gives them permission to lose their shit over whatever it is that they just can't handle in their moment. And it gives us all permission to be much more expressive about what needs to come out, you know, the frustrations, the irritations, the annoyance, the anxiety of getting here and getting there and getting everything organized. So that's been such a huge relief, actually. I can feel my body just sinking as I'm saying it. It's been a huge relief. And then I think some other big transformations have come around us as parents setting our own healthy boundaries, realizing, I think we were very I don't know what the word is, dedicated's coming to mind, but that's not the word, but the type of parents that puts their children's needs first all the time. You're always meeting their needs first, you know, when they cry, when they need something, and you kind of put yourself second or last at the bottom of the pile. And just recognizing to put in some healthy boundaries that recognizes that we have needs as well, and that by honoring those boundaries and kind of putting boundaries in place, that it's not disciplining or harming our children, but it's making that balance and that family dynamic much more sustainable and much more healthy. And it's also showing, it's again also role modeling to our children that you have a priority to look after your own needs. So it's actually teaching them to look after their own needs. So that's been a very big transformation. And we've loved the one of Jackie's, she's got so many tools up your sleeve, which are fabulous. But the I want, you want. So it's like, I want 10 minutes to talk to somebody on the phone. What do you want afterwards? And it works such a treat. And that has been transformational as well. Just something really simple, instead of trying to beat them off with a broom, you know, and running around the house when you're on the phone and they keep following you everywhere. So that's been really great, just recognizing that we actually have needs, and it's okay to meet those needs. And I think that the conversations, the meeting people's needs and is much healthier. And also realizing that you can't control how anybody else reacts, and to take that responsibility out of the equation. Like, I would always feel responsible for when my children kicked off and they were upset and had their tantrums, and I would feel responsible somehow for that, and that would always create a lot of tension and anxiety within me. And usually I could ride it, but then that would often explode, especially when I was drained or exhausted or, you know, tired. And realizing that you're not actually responsible for them and the way they react, that has been very transformational too. It's been such a relief. And now I notice I'm not being triggered as many times in certain situations because I've taken myself out of the equation. So that's been huge for me.